There we go.
Awesome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the Kubernetes mentoring meeting. It is November 9th. I am Marky Jackson. Just a reminder, this is a recorded meeting and we are abiding by the Kubernetes Code of Conduct, which amounts to be excellent to one another. The note taker is Bob. On the agenda, we have one item. I think we'll have another one and I'll enter it in a second. But the first one is the status of the new contributor workshop. Allison?
I don't really have much to say here other than it's KubeCon week, so it's very busy for everyone. So yeah, does anyone else on the team have any updates about what they're doing and so forth?
From II's side, the local build and test, we did the outline for the sessions. Session 1, we did updates. There was 2 slides for that equal session 1. We got, I think, 10 in now, which is kind of an outline. So we're not sure exactly what you want us to do to make our own slide deck outside, because I think the whole thing's going to need a lot of shuffling around. Because everybody's got to make independent things, so it might not be a flowing process. So I'm not sure how we want to do that. So yeah, 1, we're good on the way. 2, we've got an outline. 3, I think Stephen, you're busy with the outline for 3 from right. So yeah, moving along.
Yeah, I'm just working through the session 3 stuff and just trying to line up some of the comments that Guinevere had made in the tickets and how they're lining up with the existing slides and content, and just trying to just making sure that whatever's been pre-discussed it's just like I'm not spending too much time having to repeat previous material, but making sure I'm spending as much time on the key concepts for that session.
Bob?
One thing we could do is, even if you don't necessarily have the full slide deck made, as long as, again, like the key content is there, we can essentially sort of, once all the slides are done, we can sort of go through and tune them so they have the same sort of like tone and voice. But that would also mean waiting till they're complete before we record.
Would the idea be that the whole slide deck would make up a session, or all the sessions would tie in a coherent sequence, like a live KubeCon? Because why I'm asking is, for instance, session 1, the slides, the session 1 was only 2 slides, but there was a lot of verbal content and very little written. So now we've expanded a little with the idea that there's going to be a lot more independent work, because at KubeCon you had somebody walking around saying, okay, install this now, oh, why are you stuck, try this, go to this link. So we were thinking that it would be more of almost a training session with training material, rather than somebody giving a audio version and just some talking slides on the side. So
my dog is going nuts right now. We do want them to be able to pick and choose sort of what content is most appropriate for them. Essentially, it's like the idea of this take on the new contributor workshop is, choose your own adventure. You only have to pick like the stuff that's relevant to what you want to do.
So
No, go ahead.
in terms of like content format, like you're saying it's more like kind of hands-on and more like training materials and the actual doing the thing. So I think even if you had you just recorded yourself in Zoom walking through the example, walking through the training, like through the instructions, like recording like yourself doing that in Zoom, and then that's complemented by the training material, by the NCW website page for it. You know what I mean? How I said, what I'm saying here, yeah. But I think if you think slides aren't going to be really that helpful, what I would suggest is, yeah, just have your instructions and your step-by-step kind of written out, and then maybe timestamp in your video recording where each step is for people so they can step through. Is that a kind of good idea? Alternative slides there?
No, we're totally going with the slides. I think my comment was more, I think the slides need to be more comprehensive than they were, and the written information plus because there's going to be, so I think I didn't express myself all that clearly. So I think we had only 2 slides, now we have 10. So I think making more slide, more detail, and more detailed discussion, specifically because there's nobody going to walk in between the tables and say, not like this, do it like that. So try and create a proper roadmap that somebody that really new can actually follow the steps easily between the slides and the video. That's.
Oh yeah. Oh, I get it. Yeah, absolutely. Feel free to like expand on the slides to like the appropriate amount of like detail. And the comment before us, and is this going to be like a set of slides per module or the whole thing in one slide deck? Ideally, a slide deck per module would be really good because we can then just export all the different slides to PDF, and then you've got like a PDF for each module you want to do, kind of thing.
That can work. That's actually part of my question is, do we break it down? Because at the moment you've got like 100 and some odd slides in one slide deck, and it was different speakers, and it was worked out beforehand who's going to do the what, and this is going to be very asynchronous. So I hear what you say. It would make more sense to say video X have a slide deck belonging to that video. Otherwise, other than the new contributor have to try and figure out what belongs to what video, which slides are we on now. Yeah, I agree. It might.
I don't
Yeah.
think. Yeah, I don't think the intent was to have like one big deck again.
And one big deck only really works if you're like running a live event and you've got heaps of people switching out laptops, but we're not constrained to that anymore, so we shouldn't have to like have the whole one big slide deck too. So yeah.
Good. Yeah, we're probably going to have 4 different sessions because it is just too bulky to make one fat session out of all 4, and then we can cut the slide decks or whichever format. At the moment I started on the slide decks, but we're busy running an org file detailing everything we want to put in, and then we'll make sure that there's a file belonging to each video when we're done. Good.
Okay. Anybody else want to add anything to that? Okay, too easy. There are no other items on the agenda. I know one of the things that we were discussing was the meeting times for the mentoring. And for some of those that may not have heard, there is going to be a different time. And I think we all agreed, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong, we said Monday, 12 Pacific. Did I completely botch that?
No, I think that was the time that we had talked about, but there was a few other people we should have looped in on that time, and that was like my bad for not including those people originally in the poke.
Oh, okay. So I'll take an action item to get everybody looped in on that. That will be who? Paris, Ihor, Nikita,
Josh.
can't think of any.
Allison.
Josh. Everybody from the original, but I'll make sure that those are added. I'll do that once we are done here.
Yeah, that was again my bad in the original. When I originally poked you, I didn't loop them in because they hadn't come to the meetings in a while, and they didn't come to the meetings because those times were permanently blocked by other meetings, so they couldn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine. It happens. I'll send out another message, and I'll do a DM in Slack, and I'll add everybody to that, and then we will go from there. So we will move the meeting time, but we're going to wait for the full consensus of all of the members. Does anybody have anything they want to add to that? Questions, comments, concerns? No. Okay, moving on. That is the end of our agenda items. Does anybody have any other open items that they want to discuss?
I actually have a new contributor workshop question item. At this point, I don't think we're gonna get it done by the 1.20 release. By the end of that, should we bump everything to 1.21?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to make 1.20.
Yeah. It's a big no for 1.20.
I agree.
Concern for 1.21 is there's a lot of API deprecations coming up. Do we want to maybe go further? Because I know with the 1.16 API deprecations, that was a lot of work involved in that. But
I'm hopeful that we can especially I personally want to put some time into this over the winter break. That we could hopefully get it done by say March. We can
I think
always
that's
punt it again, but I think that's a pretty reasonable deadline.
I would like March because it's coming up to the anniversary of when we started trying to do this. So, yeah. We would have had we've been for a pandemic and all that, but it's kind of we've been doing this for a year. So, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, II's just got test freeze is in about a week, so there's a bit of extra pressure on for me at the moment.
So is everybody
Yes.
a +1 for punting to 1.21?
Absolutely.
There's a lot more time to consider options, and also just maybe have I'm just because I've got a bit of a teaching background, just trying to get a bit more demonstration stuff into the videos and stuff, because just straight slides is just not going to help people learn. That's just my idea at the moment.
Okay, thank you for that. Anything else? Any other open items anybody wants to add? If not, we need to let Allison go get some rest.
Alison, you're still in London.
I am still in London. I
And
live
it's
here.
2 in the morning.
No, it's only 20 past midnight. It's fine.
20 past
It's fine.
midnight.
We
Okay,
can
for
cut
me,
this from the
20
recording right now.
We can stop the recording now.
We can go ahead and stop the recording.